Chosen one, in this very moment, heaven poses over your life. There is a holy stillness wrapping around you, as if the very atmosphere knows something divine is unfolding. You can feel it in your chest, in the rise and fall of your breath, in that quiet, trembling deep inside your spirit. This is not ordinary. This is not random. This is a divine interruption, God placing his hand upon your timeline and saying, "Pay attention. I am speaking." You stand at the threshold between your tears and your testimony, and heaven is leaning close. Chosen one, every tear you have cried, every silent breakdown, every moment you hid your face so no one would see, your pain has been gathered by the one who never looked away. Not one drop was wasted. Not one night went unnoticed. You have been walking through battles most people could not survive, carrying weights most people would have collapsed under, yet here you are, still standing, and not by accident. You are standing because destiny refused to let you fall. You have been set apart since the beginning. That's why you never fit in. That's why you felt things more deeply. That's why you saw through people's masks. That's why your heart broke differently. Heaven marked you, long before earth misunderstood you. Right now, God is beginning to turn those tears, those years of quiet suffering, into the very testimony that will shift your life. And in this holy moment, heaven brings forth an ancient truth, spoken for the wounded, the weary, the chosen ones, like you. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 34, verse 17, "The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles." Chosen one, this is the turning point. God heard you, not just your words. He heard your tears. Tears speak, even when your mouth cannot. Your silent cries echoed through the halls of heaven, louder than any shouted prayer. And the scripture above isn't just a verse, it is a verdict over your life. Deliverance is coming. Change is coming. Testimony is coming. The pain you endured wasn't punishment, it was positioning. What tried to break you actually built you. What tried to bury you pushed you deeper into God. That darkness fought you so viciously because it saw the light you were about to walk into. Hell attacks what heaven anoints. You didn't survive because you were strong. You survived because God refused to let you go. Chosen one, lean in. Your spirit already knows something is shifting. You can feel that energy, that heat, that stirring that says, "This message is for me." That is divine confirmation. Heaven is not whispering. Heaven is declaring your turning season. Your tears were the seed. Your testimony will be the harvest. You are walking out of the valley. You are rising from the ashes. You are stepping into the healing, the restoration, the clarity, the elevation that was always meant for you. Everything that once broke you is becoming the very platform God will use to reveal His glory in your life. But before God lifts you publicly, He awakens you privately. That's why this message reached you now, not earlier, not later. Now, because this is your moment of alignment. If this word is resonating in your spirit, if you feel God tugging on you, then pause, breathe, and acknowledge this divine encounter. This is God saying, "Get ready. I am turning your tears into testimony." And before you move to the next section, chosen one, pause for a sacred moment. Let your spirit recognize what is happening right now. This is not just another message passing through your screen. This is a prophetic appointment. As a symbolic act of agreement with what heaven is releasing over your life, I want you to like, share, subscribe, and comment the number 111 below. The number 111 represents divine alignment, a supernatural turning point, and a God-ordained shift in your destiny. It is the number of open doors, fresh beginnings, and heavenly acceleration. When you type it, you are not just writing a number, you are declaring, I am ready for my transformation. I am stepping into my next chapter. I receive what God is releasing over me. No, this is the moment where your faith meets action. This is where the atmosphere around you begins to change. This is where the oil of testimony starts flowing over the tears you once cried in silence. Chosen one. Your transformation begins now. Chosen one. As you move from that sacred pause of heaven into the deeper chambers of your own story, something begins to rise within you, an awareness, a recognition of the weight you have carried for far too long. This weight was not visible to the world. It was not something you could simply explain to those around you. It lived beneath your ribs, pressed against your spirit, traveled with you into every room, every conversation, every quiet moment when you were alone with your thoughts. You carried it silently, faithfully, and often painfully. You learned how to function while wounded. You learned how to smile while breaking. You learned how to hold the world together while your own heart trembled. And even now, as these words reach you, a part of you remembers the heaviness, the exhaustion, the nights when your soul felt stretched to its limits. You became strong out of necessity, not desire. You stood firm because falling apart was not an option. You kept going because quitting would have meant letting darkness win, and something in you refused to surrender. People saw your outer strength, but they never recognized the internal battles you fought behind closed doors. They praised your resilience, but never understood the cost of that resilience. They admired your light, but had no idea how many storms tried to extinguish it. Your strength became a language only heaven understood, and your tears became prayers only God could interpret. And now, in this moment, heaven brings your memory to a stillness so you can finally understand what you lived through. You were not just surviving, you were being shaped. Shaped for purpose, shaped for calling, shaped for a future that required spiritual depth and emotional maturity. Every weight you carried was forging something strong, something unshakable, something eternal within you. It is here, in the quiet reflection of all you endured, that an ancient truth rises from the sacred writings. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Chosen one. This is the verse of your journey. You tried to make sense of the pain. You tried to understand why certain relationships failed, why some people betrayed you, why life seemed to hit you harder than others. You tried to comprehend the seasons of isolation, the moments of delay, the unexpected losses and sudden detours. But the truth is, these burdens were never meant to be processed through human logic. They were spiritual assignments. They were parts of a divine blueprint hidden from your view. Your understanding could not hold what God was orchestrating behind the scenes. Every weight you carried was part of a preparation you could not yet see. You weren't just walking through hardship, you were being positioned, set apart, refined, strengthened. Heaven was sculpting you into someone who could carry influence without breaking, carry purpose without arrogance, carry anointing without compromise. There were times when you felt like you were walking alone, but you were never abandoned. You were being led, guided, guarded. You were being taught how to rely on God in ways that normal people would never understand, while others leaned on opinions, on relationships, on comfort. You learned to lean on God Himself. That is why your spirit carries a depth that can't be faked. That is why you sense things others overlook. That is why your heart has a wisdom that surpasses your age, your experience, your background. This is what it means to be chosen. The weight you carried is the evidence of your calling. The heaviness you endured is the proof of heaven's investment in you. The tears you shed were the water that softened the soil of your destiny. You were never being destroyed. You were being planted. And now, the roots have taken hold. Chosen one. You are stepping into understanding. Not by explanation, but by revelation. You are beginning to see that every burden was part of a sacred sequence designed to shape you into the vessel you are becoming. The weight didn't crush you, it clarified you. It didn't break you, it built you. It didn't diminish you, it defined you. And now heaven whispers, remember what you carried, for it will soon reveal what you were created for. Chosen one. As you move deeper into the truth of who you are and what you have walked through, you begin to understand that the battles you faced were never random. They were never bad luck, never coincidences, never accidental disruptions in your life. No, these were spiritual confrontations. They were assignments. They were targeted attacks from darkness designed to suffocate your calling before it could fully awaken. Because when you carry light, darkness notices. And when you carry great light, darkness reacts violently. You have felt those reactions. You've lived through nights when the heaviness on your chest felt supernatural. You've experienced relationships that suddenly turned hostile with no explanation. You've endured moments when discouragement hit you so hard it felt like something was trying to break your spirit from the inside out. And you wondered, why me? Why this level of resistance? But, chosen one, listen closely. Resistance is always a sign of spiritual identity. The warfare you faced wasn't proof of weakness, it was proof of importance. Only the valuable are targeted. Only the anointed are opposed. Only the chosen are fought on levels the average person never experiences. There were seasons when darkness tried to make you believe you were losing your mind. Times when shadows of fear crept into your room at night. Moments when a sudden wave of anxiety or despair hit you with no natural cause. That was not you. That was warfare. You weren't fighting emotions, you were fighting entities. You weren't battling confusion, you were battling spiritual interference. You weren't overwhelmed because you were fragile, you were overwhelmed because the enemy feared the power inside of you once awakened. You didn't realize it then. But every spiritual attack revealed the magnitude of the calling placed upon your life. What felt like confusion was actually the enemy panicking about the power you had not yet discovered within yourself. The shaking around you was simply confirmation of the strength rising inside you. Each wave of resistance was proof that heaven had assigned you to a higher realm of influence. Darkness targeted you because it sensed your future impact long before you did. What once felt like chaos was actually training, sharpening your spirit so you could carry the authority that is now awakening within you. And now, in this moment of revelation, heaven brings forth an ancient truth, a reminder that this battle has been seen and understood for generations before you. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world." This scripture isn't merely a teaching, it is a mirror reflecting your journey. You weren't attacked because people hated you. You were attacked because spirits feared you. You weren't abandoned because you were unworthy. You were abandoned because your presence made some people uncomfortable without knowing why. You weren't rejected because you lacked something. You were rejected because you carried something. Something radiant. Something holy. Something destiny encoded. Darkness always tries to silence what heaven has ordained. And chosen one, darkness failed. You survived. Battles meant to bury you. You stood upright while hell tried to crush you. You kept your heart soft while the enemy tried to harden it through betrayal. You kept your faith alive while the enemy threw everything he had at your mind. You don't see it yet, but you're walking with the quiet strength of someone who has stared into the abyss and refused to let it claim them. You carry a spiritual authority that was forged in fire. And now, every demon that once tormented you recognizes something. You are no longer prey, you are a problem. But pause here, because heaven wants you to understand something deeper. Those battles weren't punishment, they were training. Those attacks weren't setbacks, they were awakenings. Those storms weren't failures, they were spiritual confirmations. You fought because you were chosen. You endured because you were destined. You survived because your story is not over. And now, as a prophetic act of clarity, an act of declaring that you recognize the warfare for what it truly was, I want you to comment, "I stand," below. Just 2 words. Powerful, simple, and spiritual. Why? Because when you write, "I stand," you are declaring to heaven, to hell, and to your own spirit that you refuse to bow to the attacks that once tried to cripple you. You are acknowledging your identity as a survivor of spiritual warfare, not a victim of it. It is a statement of authority, a declaration of resilience, a reclaiming of your voice in the battle that once silenced you. Chosen one, you stand. And because you stand, everything in your life is about to shift. Chosen one, as you step from the battlefield of spiritual warfare into the quiet truth of divine protection, something inside you begins to settle. You start to realize that even in your darkest seasons, especially in those seasons, there were forces at work around you that you did not see. You were not walking alone. You were not fighting uncovered. You were not navigating life without heaven's shield surrounding you. There were moments you should have broken, but you didn't. Moments you should have fallen, but somehow you stayed standing. Moments you should have lost your mind, but clarity returned at the last second. Moments you walked toward danger without realizing how close you were, yet something redirected your steps. Chosen one. That wasn't coincidence. That wasn't luck. That wasn't your strength. That was divine protection, quiet, constant, unshakable. You were protected from accidents you never knew were coming. Protected from people whose intentions were hidden behind smiles. Protected from spiritual traps set in seasons when you were too tired to discern clearly. Protected from decisions that would have destroyed you had God not interrupted. Protected from relationships that looked like blessings but carried destruction beneath the surface. Heaven fought for you long before you learned how to fight for yourself. Many of the no's that broke your heart were actually rescues. Many of the delays that frustrated you were divine detours away from danger. Many of the closed doors were God shielding you, not punishing you. You begged for certain opportunities, not knowing they were designed to drain you. You prayed for certain people to stay, not realizing their presence would have derailed your purpose. But God stepped in. God intervened. God blocked what you thought you wanted in order to protect what He planned for you. And now, in this moment of revelation, heaven brings forth a sacred reminder of the unseen shield that has been covering you. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. This is not just a verse. It is the story of your life. There were battles you didn't fight, yet you won. There were attacks planned against you that never reached you. There were words spoken behind your back that never manifested. There were spiritual arrows shot at your heart that somehow missed. You did not see the warfare around you because God fought in realms your eyes could not perceive. He stood between you and the harm rising against you. He placed angels where you placed trust. He fortified your spirit when you felt too fragile to continue. He shielded your mind when anxiety tried to drown your thoughts. He covered your dreams when fear tried to suffocate them. Chosen one, you have lived your entire life surrounded by invisible mercy. Think back, truly think. There are moments you survived that should have broken you beyond repair. People walked away from similar battles and never recovered. But you did. Why? Because a hand larger than your pain held you through every storm. Even when you felt abandoned, you were surrounded. Even when you felt unworthy, you were protected. Even when you felt lost, heaven knew exactly where you were. There were nights when you cried until your chest ached, unaware that angels were standing guard at the foot of your bed. There were days when your strength collapsed, but unseen hands lifted you again. There were dark seasons when depression tried to swallow you whole, but God whispered just loud enough to pull you back toward life. You were kept for a reason. Every time you were inches from a mistake that would have cost you years, something inside you shifted an instinct, a hesitation, a sudden clarity. That was divine intervention. God was preserving the version of you that would one day step into purpose, authority, and destiny. Even when you wandered, even when you doubted, even when you resisted His leading, He never deserted you. Protection is the mark of the chosen, and you have been marked since the beginning. Now, as you look back with new understanding, you begin to see how beautifully God moved in the shadows of your story. The close calls, the sudden escapes, the inner nudges, the red flags. You couldn't explain. These were not accidents. These were fingerprints of the divine. You were shielded because you are needed, protected because you are purposed, preserved because your future carries weight. Chosen one. If only you knew how many storms God redirected, how many battles He ended before they began, how many tragedies He erased before they reached your timeline, you would fall to your knees in gratitude. You would understand that your survival was not coincidence, it was covenant. Your journey is not sustained by luck. It is sustained by love, heaven's love, etched into the path beneath your feet. Chosen one, as you step into this next revelation, heaven turns your attention to something sacred, your tears. The world may have overlooked them, but heaven never did. Every tear you shed was seen, held, and recorded. Not one disappeared into the darkness. Not one was ignored by God. Your tears were not signs of weakness. They were the ink with which heaven began writing your testimony. For so long, you believed crying meant you were breaking. But the truth is deeper. Your tears were cleansing your spirit, the way rain softens the soil before something new can grow. They were washing away the remnants of battles you didn't even realize you had survived. They were evidence that your heart, despite all it endured, never turned cold. Your tears have been holy. Think of them like drops falling into a divine jar, each one becoming a seed. Seeds planted in seasons of pain often grow into the strongest trees, the kind that survive storms, anchor deep roots, and offer shelter to others. You never knew it, but your tears have been watering the very future you're about to step into. And heaven now brings forward a truth preserved for moments like this, as the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." Chosen one, that promise belongs to you. Your tears were never the end. They were the beginning. What seemed delayed was being prepared. What felt unanswered was being perfected. What felt like silence was actually strategy. God has been shaping your testimony in places you couldn't see. In times you felt forgotten. In seasons you thought nothing was happening. But something was happening, deep beneath the surface. In the soil of your sorrow, something was forming. Because tears are not just water, they are revelation. They reveal what matters to you, what hurts you, what shapes you. They reveal the depth of your love, the strength of your endurance, and the purity of your heart. You cried, but you did not quit. You wept, but you kept walking. You broke, but you healed. You suffered, but you survived. And heaven honors that. Your tears are like rivers that carved through stone slow, silent, but powerful. Rivers that eventually shape landscapes. Rivers that form valleys where life can grow. Rivers that lead to oceans of purpose. There are testimonies rising from those tears, stories you'll tell one day that will free others, stories that will help someone else breathe again, stories that will shine light where darkness once held you captive. You may not see it yet, but your story is becoming someone else's survival guide. And because this moment is sacred, because your journey has weight, depth, and beauty, allow me to speak to you from the heart, not as a voice on a screen, but as someone who sees the value in what you carry. If this message has touched you, strengthened you, or spoken to the hidden places in your soul, consider supporting the mission behind it, not out of pressure, not out of obligation, but the way someone gently waters a growing seed, the way a traveler places a small stone on a path to help guide the next wanderer, the way a candle lights another without losing its flame. Your like helps this message reach someone who's crying alone tonight. Your share becomes a lifeline to a person who thinks God has forgotten them. Your subscribe keeps you connected to the stream of hope being poured into your spirit. And if you feel led, your donation becomes a warm ember fuel that keeps this light burning for those still walking through darkness. Give only if your heart moves you. Give only if you feel the pull. Give only if you want to help shine a little more light into the world. You are not supporting a voice, you are supporting a mission. To lift the broken, awaken the chosen, and strengthen those standing at the edge of giving up. Chosen one, your tears are becoming testimony. and your testimony will become someone's miracle. This chapter of your life is shifting, and heaven is smiling over you, because you have no idea how beautifully everything is about to unfold. Chosen one. This is the place where your journey and your breaking point meet. Not the breaking that destroys, but the breaking that awakens. You have been through seasons where your heart felt stretched beyond what any human should carry. Seasons where life pressed on your chest until your breath came out in fragments. Seasons where you looked at your reflection and wondered how someone so strong could feel so fragile. But hear this. The moment you thought was going to end you was actually the moment God stepped in. Your breaking point was heaven's turning point. There were days when you walked through life on autopilot, functioning on empty, giving from a cup that had nothing left to pour. You smiled while silently drowning. You carried others while no one noticed you were collapsing. You prayed through tears no one saw. And when you reached the edge, when your hope thinned, your strength cracked, and your soul whispered, "I can't do this anymore." Heaven leaned closer. What felt like breaking was actually God's intervention. Chosen one. When your strength ran out, grace flowed in. When your mind fractured under pressure, peace entered through the cracks. When you were moments away from giving up, something stopped you, a whisper, a thought, a sudden calm, a shift you couldn't explain. You didn't know it then, but that was God interrupting the collapse. That was God catching you before you fell. That was God saying, "Not this one, not today, not ever." In that fragile moment, heaven wrapped around you like unseen armor. What you thought was weakness was actually divine intervention, tightening its grip. The collapse you feared never arrived because God Himself stood between you and the breaking you could not have survived alone. Your spirit didn't rise by accident. It rose because something holy lifted it. Even when you felt numb, heaven was breathing strength into your lungs. You walked out of a moment designed to shatter you. Not because you were lucky, but because you were protected. Your breaking point was not a sign of failure. It was proof that you had carried more than most people do in a lifetime. And now, heaven reveals a truth preserved for moments like this. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah. Chapter 31, verse 13. I will turn their mourning into joy. I will comfort them and give them gladness for sorrow. I, chosen one, that promise is being written over your life right now. You didn't break because you were weak. You broke because you were growing. You broke because God was removing what could not go with you into your next season. You broke because heaven was reshaping your story from the inside out. Sometimes God allows the breaking because the blessing requires the pieces to be rearranged. You asked, why does it hurt so much? Because transformation hurts. New identities are born through pressure. New strength is forged through friction. New chapters begin when old ones are torn open. You were not being destroyed. You were being reborn. Think of a seed. Before it grows, it must break. Before it rises, it must split open in the dark. Before it reaches the sunlight, it must surrender to the process underground. That was you. In hidden places, in silent battles, in emotional caves where no one saw you fighting, the breaking was the beginning of your blooming. Chosen one. You may not realize it yet, but something inside you awakened in that season. Your discernment sharpened. Your spirit matured. Your faith deepened. Your capacity expanded. What once overwhelmed you no longer has power over you. What once shook you can no longer move you. You are not who you were before the breaking. You are stronger, wiser, softer in the right places and sharper in the others. And now, the atmosphere around your life is shifting. The breaking is becoming rebuilding. The sorrow is becoming strength. The confusion is becoming clarity. The tears are becoming oil. The pain is becoming testimony. But before you continue, pause. Acknowledge that this moment is divine. Recognize that you are standing on the threshold of a new chapter, one that could not begin until you faced the breaking point and survived it. And as a symbolic act of spiritual agreement, an act that declares, I am ready for the rebuilding God is beginning in me, I want you to comment the number 444 below. Why 444? Because it represents foundation, stability, and divine rebuilding. It is the number of angels guiding your steps, the number of construction, the number of destiny realigning after a season of breaking. When you type 444, you are declaring, I am ready to be rebuilt. I am ready for my new beginning. I accept the strength God is forming in me. Chosen. 1. Your breaking point was the doorway to your transformation, and your transformation is already unfolding. Chosen 1. As you step into the realm of revelation where heaven begins exposing the motives of those around you, something inside you finally starts to make sense. For so long, you questioned why certain relationships felt heavy, why certain people drained your energy, why some connections seemed to collapse without warning. You blamed yourself, doubted yourself, and wondered what you were doing wrong. But the truth is deeper, far deeper than you realized. Some people were never meant to walk with you into your purpose. Some were drawn to your light, not your heart. Some were attracted to your calling, but intimidated by your growth. Some were comfortable with you broken because your healing would expose their intentions. You felt the shift long before you understood it. Your spirit sensed what your eyes could not see. Your discernment picked up on tones, looks, silences, and small inconsistencies that didn't make sense at the time. You felt drained after certain conversations. You felt uneasy around certain smiles. You felt tension where there should have been peace. That was not paranoia, that was discernment awakening. Chosen 1. There were people in your life who celebrated your pain more than your progress. People who clapped when you were down because it made them feel higher. People who pretended to support you while secretly hoping you never discovered your full potential. People whose connection to you was rooted in convenience, not covenant. And heaven watched it all. God saw the friends who were close to your face but far from your heart. He saw the conversations where your name was spoken without honor. He saw the promises made to you in public and broken in private. He saw the envy dressed as encouragement. He saw the concern that was actually control. He saw the loyalty that was conditional. And because you are chosen, He stepped in. There were moments when God removed people from your life abruptly, and you thought you were being punished. But heaven was protecting you. Rejection was redirection. Distance was deliverance. Separation was salvation. Had some people stayed, they would have sabotaged your destiny from within. This is why certain friendships faded without explanation. This is why some relationships shattered suddenly. This is why God allowed truth to surface in painful ways. This is why you cried over people who were not aligned with your path. You lost them, but you gained clarity. And now, heaven brings forth a truth from the ancient writings, a truth crafted for seasons when the heart aches for answers, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 16, "You will know them by their fruits." Chosen one. That is the key that unlocks your understanding. People reveal themselves through patterns, not promises. Through consistency, not charisma. Through action, not affection. God allowed certain behaviors to come to light because he was preparing you for a higher level where discernment is not optional, it is essential. You are stepping into a future where your connections matter as much as your calling. Not everyone can go where God is taking you. Not everyone can breathe the air of your next season. Not everyone can understand the weight of your assignment. Some people were blessings for a time, not for a lifetime. Some were lessons, not lifelines. Some were detours, not destiny. And as painful as it was, losing them made room for alignment. Your spirit needed space to grow. Your mind needed quiet to heal. Your heart needed freedom to breathe again. Without the removal, you would have remained stuck in cycles that drained your joy and distorted your identity. Chosen one. Now, you see. You see why your spirit felt uneasy around certain people. It was heaven warning you. You see why you felt spiritually suffocated. It was heaven revealing misalignment. You see why certain apologies felt empty. It was heaven showing you the truth behind the words. You see why you could never fully trust them. It was heaven protecting your heart. But here is the deeper revelation. God didn't expose your enemies to shame them. He exposed them to free you. Free you from emotional bondage. Free you from spiritual manipulation. Free you from hidden jealousy. Free you from draining connections. Free you from people who wanted access to your energy but not responsibility for their impact. You were not losing relationships, you were losing burdens. Now, chosen one. Your eyes are clearer. Your spirit is sharper. Your heart is stronger. Your discernment is maturing. You no longer settle for proximity when God demands purity. You no longer confuse attachment with alignment. You no longer tolerate what harms your peace. You no longer ignore what heaven is highlighting. This is the season where God aligns you with people who see your worth. Honor your spirit. Protect your heart. And walk with integrity. Your circle may be smaller, but it will be sacred. Your connections may be fewer, but they will be fruitful. God is replacing counterfeits with covenant-level souls who match your calling and support your journey. Chosen one. What left was never meant to stay, and what is coming carries the weight of destiny. Chosen one. As you step into this next revelation, heaven begins unveiling the truth about something you never asked for, yet somehow became responsible for the mantle placed upon your life. A mantle is not chosen by preference. It is chosen by purpose. It is not picked up the way someone chooses a hobby or a talent. It is placed on those who have been shaped, pressed, refined, and prepared through experiences that others could not endure. You did not ask to feel things so deeply. You did not ask to be the strong one in every room. You did not ask to carry wisdom beyond your years. You did not ask to be the one people run to, while having no one to run to yourself. And yet, you became all of this. You became the listener, the comforter, the stabilizer, the one who held others together while quietly falling apart. You became the anchor during storms, that weren't even yours. You carried emotional and spiritual burdens that belonged to entire households. You felt responsible for peace you did not break, for wounds you did not cause, for chaos you did not create. The weight was never fair, but it was never random. This mantle didn't appear overnight. It formed through fire. It formed when life pushed you into roles you weren't ready for. It formed through heartbreak that cracked open compassion inside you. It formed through betrayal that sharpened your discernment. It formed through loneliness that taught you how to hear God's whisper. It formed through suffering that expanded your capacity to love. You didn't ask for this mantle because you didn't know you were chosen for it. Heaven entrusted you with sensitivity because you were meant to feel what others ignore. Heaven entrusted you with compassion because you were meant to bring healing where others bring harm. Heaven entrusted you with resilience because you were meant to stand where others fall. Heaven entrusted you with spiritual awareness because you were meant to see beneath the surface. Your mantle is not a burden, it is evidence of who you are becoming. But in this moment of awakening, heaven brings forward a truth spoken long before you were born, yet meant for your journey. The Word of God declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verse 1, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because He has anointed me, chosen one." That anointing explains everything. It explains why you could not quit, even when you had every reason to. It explains why your heart remained tender, despite the wounds. It explains why you often feel responsible for lifting others. It explains why people feel safe opening up to you. It explains why darkness came after you so early, so relentlessly, so strategically. The mantle you carry is recognized in the spiritual realm long before you recognize it in yourself. This is why certain rooms felt too small for you, why certain environments exhausted you, why certain relationships felt misaligned, why you couldn't tolerate shallow conversations or empty intentions, why you were drawn to depth, truth, purpose, and authenticity. Your spirit was built for more, even when your mind didn't know it yet. But here is the part most people never see. A mantle is heavy before it becomes empowering. You struggled under its weight because you were growing into it. You misunderstood its purpose because you hadn't yet discovered your own. You doubted your calling because you learned through suffering, not celebration. You questioned your worth because your training looked like breaking. Chosen one. The very things that crushed others became the things that crowned you. Your childhood wounds became insight. Your heartbreak became compassion. Your loneliness became discernment. Your endurance became authority. Your survival became testimony. And now, heaven whispers, you were not carrying misfortune, you were carrying preparation. This mantle will not always feel heavy. One day, it will feel like identity. One day, it will make sense why your path was different. One day, you will realize that what looked like struggle was actually shaping. One day, your voice, your presence, your wisdom will become answers for people who lived the same pain you lived through. Because that is what mantles do. They turn wounded people into healers, survivors into leaders, broken hearts into prophets, and crushed spirits into vessels of power. Chosen one. What you carry is sacred. What you endured was purposeful. Who you are becoming is extraordinary. This mantle you never asked for is the reason heaven has protected you, refined you, awakened you, and strengthened you. It is the reason your story carries weight, the reason your breakthroughs matter, The reason your presence shifts the atmosphere when you walk into a room, you were chosen to carry what others could not. And now, the mantle is beginning to reveal its purpose. Chosen one, as you step into this moment, something within you begins to rise slowly at first, like a flame rekindling after nearly going out. You have walked through shadows that would have swallowed a weaker soul, but you did not stay buried. You didn't even realize it. But you began rising the moment you chose to keep moving. Keep breathing. Keep believing, even when everything around you suggested you should give up. This is your rising from the ashes season. There were times when life felt like a wildfire sweeping through everything you held dear. Dreams burned. Friendships turned to smoke. Hopes collapsed into embers. You looked around at what remained and wondered how you would ever rebuild. You wondered why the fire had to come at all, why so much had to be stripped away. But here is the truth heaven needs you to understand. Some things had to burn so that your spirit could breathe again. Not everything lost was meant to stay. Not everything removed was meant to remain. Not everything taken was a tragedy. Some losses were deliverance in disguise. The ashes you saw as endings were actually foundations for something new, something stronger, something aligned with your destiny. Because ashes are not signs of death, they are signs of transformation. They are proof that what once hindered you can no longer limit you. They are evidence that you survived what was meant to destroy you. And now heaven brings forward a sacred truth written long ago for moments just like this. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 37. In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Chosen one, more than a conqueror. Not just enough. Not barely surviving. Oh, more. Greater. Higher. This is why you're rising now. This is why you feel the shift, even if you can't explain it. This is why your spirit feels different, lighter, stronger, more awake. Because what you walked through didn't break you, it built you. You carry strength shaped from storms. You carry peace forged in chaos. You carry wisdom carved from wounds. You carry resilience born from valleys. You carry a spirit that refuses to die, even when buried beneath pain. This new strength inside you, the one rising like dawn after a long night, is not accidental. It is anointing. It is the afterglow of battles heaven helped you win. It is the quiet flame of identity revealing itself after seasons of being hidden, ignored, or misunderstood. You no longer rise from ego, you rise from healing. You no longer rise for approval, you rise because heaven called you to rise. You no longer rise to prove anything, you rise simply because staying down no longer feels like truth. And something else is happening. Your spirit is expanding. Your vision is sharpening. Your hope is returning. Your fire is growing. You feel more grounded, yet more lifted. More humbled, yet more empowered. More quiet, yet more certain. Because rising is not loud, it is steady. It is not frantic, it is focused. It is not pride, it is purpose. You survived seasons that should have crushed you. Yet, here you are, awakening with new breath. Something is being rebuilt inside you. Stone by stone, layer by layer. You may not see the full picture yet, but the foundations are forming beneath your feet. And now, chosen one, heaven invites you into a declaration, a short, simple phrase, less than 4 words, but powerful enough to shift the atmosphere. Comment, I rise now. M. And here's why. When you type, I rise now, you are not just repeating a phrase, you are sealing a moment. You are telling your spirit to stand up. You are telling your past that it no longer defines you. You are telling heaven you're ready. You are telling darkness that the season of defeat is over. I rise now means I rise from what hurt me. I rise from what betrayed me. I rise from what buried me. I rise from my own doubt. I rise into my calling. It is a declaration, a spiritual act, a prophetic step forward. Because rising is not something that happens around you, it is something that happens within you. And you, chosen one, are rising beautifully, not rushed, not forced, not pushed, rising naturally, spiritually, divinely, exactly on time. The ashes beneath you are not ruins, they are proof that you survived the fire. And the fire did not consume you because there is something inside you that flames cannot touch. You are stepping into a chapter where everything the enemy tried to destroy becomes fuel for your power. A chapter where your scars become your strength. A chapter where the heaviness lifts and your true voice returns. A chapter where you no longer crawl, you rise. And heaven watches with joy, because your rising has only just begun. Chosen one. As you step into this next revelation, heaven begins shifting the atmosphere around your life. You have walked through seasons where everything seemed to work against you, where doors closed without reason. Opportunities slipped through your fingers, and people underestimated what God placed inside you. But now, you are entering the divine moment where the tables turn. The very places that rejected you will soon regret it. The voices that doubted you will fall silent. The situations that held you back will become stepping stones beneath your feet. This is not revenge, this is realignment. This is heaven rearranging the pieces of your story. For too long you sat at tables where your value was overlooked, where your gifts were minimized, where your heart was taken for granted. You poured into people who never poured back. You showed up for those who disappeared in your darkest moments. You honored connections that only tolerated you. It left you wondering whether you had misjudged your worth. But chosen one, you didn't misjudge your worth. You misjudged the room. You were sitting among people who couldn't recognize what heaven had placed within you. They mistook your humility for weakness. They mistook your silence for lack of depth. They mistook your kindness for naivety. But God saw it all, and now heaven has decided it is time for tables to turn. And in this exact moment of shifting, heaven brings a truth spoken long ago. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 16, verse 20, "You will weep and mourn, but your grief will turn to joy." Chosen one. This is where your grief becomes glory. Picture a potter's wheel. When the clay is pressed down, it is not being destroyed, it is being shaped. When the potter applies pressure, the vessel is not being punished, it is being perfected. That was you. Every pressure in your life was forming you. Every disappointment was carving out space for new capacity. Every setback was smoothing the edges of your future. And now the potter lifts his hands. Your shaping season gives way to your shining season. Your hidden season gives way to your honored season. Your wounded season gives way to your winning season. You are being elevated in ways you cannot yet imagine. This turning of tables feels like sunrise after a long night. Slow at first, gentle, almost unnoticed. But then suddenly the horizon glows, and everything changes. Your confidence begins to return. Your voice strengthens. Your spirit stands taller. Your boundaries sharpen. Your presence carries new weight. And people feel it. Rooms feel it. Atmospheres feel it. Because you are no longer walking in the version of yourself forged by hurt. You are walking in the version of yourself forged by healing. The tables turn not when you demand recognition, but when you outgrow the places that once diminished you. The blessing is not in proving people wrong, it is in becoming so aligned with purpose that their opinions no longer matter. But let this truth settle in your heart. Elevation is not just about rising up, it's about being placed where your gifts can finally breathe. Where your spirit is honored, where your voice is valued, where your presence is seen for what it truly is, purposeful, powerful, prophetic. As you step into this new space, chosen one, allow me to speak to you from sincerity, not obligation. Messages like this, words that lift, heal, clarify, restore, they grow like gardens. Each one takes time, intentionality, and devotion. And if this message is watering your soul, touching the places you thought were forgotten, or giving breath to a weary part of your spirit, then consider supporting this mission. Not because you owe anything, not because you are pressured to, but the way someone gently adds oil to a lamp to keep the flame alive on a dark night, the way a traveler leaves a marker on the trail to help the next soul find their way, the way a river continues flowing because many small streams feed into it. Your like helps this message reach someone who feels ignored. Your share becomes a rope for someone who is sinking silently. Your subscribe keeps you connected to the flow of strength you've been receiving. And your donation, if your heart feels led, becomes a brick that builds the next sanctuary of hope for another chosen one searching for light. Give only if your spirit nudges. Give only if it feels like alignment, not obligation. Give only if something inside you whispers, "This helped me. Let it help someone else." Oh, because when you support light, you become part of its glow. Chosen one, the tables are turning for you, not by force, not by chance, by divine orchestration. And this is only the beginning. Chosen one. As you step into this next unfolding, heaven shifts your gaze from the battles behind you to the restoration rising ahead. You have endured seasons where it felt as if everything was slipping through your hands. Peace, relationships, opportunities, identity. It seemed as though life kept taking, stripping, breaking, leaving you with fragments of what once felt whole. But what you didn't know then is what you are beginning to feel now. God never takes without preparing to restore. Restoration is not simply returning what was lost. It is God rebuilding what was damaged, renewing what was drained, and replacing what was stolen with something stronger, purer, and far more aligned with your destiny. This is your restoration season. There were times when you felt emptied, as if someone carved pieces out of your heart and spirit. You walked through days that felt hollow, conversations that felt heavy, relationships that felt imbalanced. You gave love freely, but received pain in return. You gave trust openly, but received betrayal. You gave effort consistently, but received indifference. These experiences created small fractures inside you, hairline cracks that became canyons over time. But restoration begins where breaking ends, and heaven now brings forth a sacred truth from the ancient writings, one that whispers hope into the places that once felt irreparably wounded. We are reminded, through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 147, verse 3, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And chosen one. This is the spiritual thread weaving through your life right now. God is not just healing you, He is mending you, not patching you, not covering you, not distracting you from your pain, but binding, stitching, restoring the very parts of your soul that felt torn apart. There is a restoration happening in your emotions. You are starting to breathe differently, deeper, steadier, with fewer tremors. Your heart no longer flinches at memories that once stung. Your mind no longer replays old wounds with the same intensity. Your spirit no longer collapses under the weight of past fears. This is healing. There is a restoration happening in your identity. You are remembering who you were before the world wounded you. You are rediscovering the voice you silenced to keep peace. You are reclaiming the confidence you surrendered in moments of heartbreak. You are recognizing the strength that was always inside you, just hidden beneath the layers of what hurt you. This is rebuilding. There is a restoration happening in your relationships, not just with people, but with yourself. You are learning how to set boundaries without guilt. You are learning how to choose yourself without shame. You are learning how to love without losing yourself in the process. You are learning how to trust again, not blindly, but wisely. This is renewal, and there is a restoration happening in your spirit. The fire that nearly went out is burning again. The hope that cracked under pressure is breathing again. The faith that once felt too heavy is rising again. You are reconnecting with God in ways you haven't felt in years, not out of desperation, but out of recognition. You are remembering that even in the seasons when you felt abandoned, you were being carried. Even in the seasons where you felt forgotten, you were being prepared. Even in the seasons where you felt empty, Heaven was filling you with new capacity. Chosen one. Restoration is not always loud. It often begins quietly. In the small shifts, the moment you no longer cry over what wounded you, the moment you find beauty in places that once felt barren, the moment peace returns without asking permission, the moment joy visits unexpectedly. Restoration is not a single event, it is a progression. And right now, you are in the middle of it. This season is different from every season you've lived before. Previously, you had to fight for survival. Now, heaven is fighting for your restoration. Previously, you felt like you were losing pieces of yourself. Now, those pieces are being returned in forms you never imagined. Previously, you endured what felt like collapse. Now, you are witnessing resurrection. Your heart is reawakening. Your soul is recentering. Your purpose is realigning. Your spirit is re-strengthening. Heaven is restoring you, not back to who you were, but forward to who you were always meant to be. Chosen one. This restoration will touch every area of your life. Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, relationally, even physically. Chosen one. As you step into this moment of revelation, something powerful begins to take shape inside you. What once felt like random suffering, scattered pain, and isolated heartbreak is now forming a pattern, one you couldn't see before. But heaven always saw clearly. Your tears, your losses, your breakthroughs, your disappointments, your lonely nights, your silent endurance, all of it is becoming testimony. And not just any testimony, a testimony that will break chains for others. a testimony that will expose darkness, a testimony that will lift the weary, a testimony that carries the fragrance of survival and the weight of transformation. You have lived through things you never thought you'd talk about. You have healed from wounds you never thought would close. You have risen from places you never thought you'd escape. And now, heaven whispers, your story is not just for you. It is becoming a light for those still trapped in their night. For so long, you questioned the purpose behind your pain. You wondered why your journey felt heavier than others. You wondered why your heart had to break in such precise, painful ways. You wondered why your path required endurance that others never seemed to need. But testimony is shaped through experience, not ease. The depth of your testimony is connected to the depth of your suffering. The authority of your voice is connected to the storms you endured. The weight of your calling is connected to the battles you survived. Heaven does not place a powerful story on a shallow life, and your life, chosen one, has never been shallow. Now, in this moment of holy unveiling, heaven brings forth ancient truth, confirming what is happening inside you. It is written in the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 20, verse 24. My only aim is to finish the race and complete the task. The Lord Jesus has given me the task of testifying to the good news of God's grace. Endo, chosen one. The task of testifying is upon you. Not preaching, not performing, not pretending. Testifying. Testifying means I lived through it. I survived it. I healed from it. I rose above it. I saw God in it. Your testimony will not sound like anyone else's because your journey has not looked like anyone else's. You were carved through unique valleys, shaped through specific storms, and strengthened through personalized trials. Your story carries a particular fragrance, one that comes only from walking through fire and emerging with gold. And now, your testimony is forming in 3 sacred layers. The testimony of what God brought you out of, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the confusion, the collapse, the warfare, things that once suffocated you but no longer hold you. The testimony of what God brought you through, the process, the lessons, the tears, the moments you nearly gave up, yet you kept rising, kept healing, kept walking. The testimony of what God is bringing you into: renewal, restoration, confidence, clarity, purpose. A future fear once told you you'd never see. But hear this, your testimony isn't just what happened, it's who you became because of what happened. You became wiser. You became spiritually sharper. You became emotionally resilient. You became more compassionate. You became more powerful than you know. And here is the truth that heaven is highlighting over your life now. Your testimony will not embarrass you. It will empower you. It will not expose your failures. It will expose God's faithfulness. It will not shame your past. It will shine a spotlight on your becoming. Chosen one. People will look at you and see the strength, but only you will know the story behind it. People will see the glow, but only you will know how much darkness it took for the light to grow. People will see the confidence, but only you will know the battles you fought to reclaim your voice. Your testimony is forming quietly, steadily, beautifully. And there is something powerful that happens when a chosen one recognizes the season they are in. You are no longer in the season of breaking. You are in the season of becoming. No longer in the season of surviving. You are in the season of storytelling. not the story of pain, but the story of power. So, pause with me. Chosen one. Breathe. Acknowledge this holy shift. You are stepping into the chapter where your wounds begin to speak healing to others. And as a symbolic act of agreement with what God is forming inside you, a declaration that you are ready for your testimony to take shape. Comment the number 555 below. Why 555? Because it represents divine change, spiritual maturity, and the completion of one cycle and the beginning of another. It means, my pain is becoming purpose. La, my story is becoming powerful. La, my voice is awakening. La, chosen one, your testimony is forming, and soon it will roar. Chosen one, as you step forward into this next revelation, something profound begins to settle inside your spirit. You are no longer the fragile version of yourself who merely endured the storms. You are becoming the powerful, steady, spiritually awakened version forged because of them. This is the season where you begin walking in new authority. Authority is not volume. It is not force. It is not dominance. True authority is presence, the kind of presence that comes from surviving what should have destroyed you and rising with clarity instead of bitterness. Your authority was not handed to you. It was earned in silence. It was shaped in private battles. It was built in lonely nights where no one saw you fighting for your sanity, your peace, or your future. It was refined in the moments you chose to forgive when revenge felt easier. It was strengthened in the moments you chose obedience when disobedience felt more convenient. This is why your authority carries weight. This is why your voice feels different. This is why people pause when you speak, even if they don't understand why. This is why atmospheres shift when you walk into a room. This is why your presence unsettles some and comforts others. Authority is the quiet confidence of someone who knows who walks with them. And now, heaven brings forth a sacred truth confirming what is awakening inside you. As the Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 5, your faith should not rest on human wisdom, but on the power of God. Chosen one, this is the foundation of your authority, not human strength, but divine empowerment. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is no longer controlled by fear. Fear once dictated your choices. Now, faith does. Fear, once silenced your voice, now conviction fuels it. Fear, once defined your limitations, now God defines your possibilities. Your authority is rising because your alignment is shifting. You no longer walk according to survival, you walk according to assignment. Your choices are becoming intentional. Your boundaries are becoming firm. Your discernment is becoming precise. Your purpose is becoming clear. You can feel it, this inner certainty forming within you. The hesitation that once followed you is dissolving. The insecurity that once haunted you is weakening. The doubt that once whispered lies is losing access to your mind. You are walking differently, thinking differently, speaking differently, seeing differently. Not because you changed yourself, but because God changed the ground beneath your feet. Walking in authority does not mean you avoid battles. It means battles avoid defeating you. It means you confront what once intimidated you. It means you operate from truth instead of trauma. It means you no longer shrink yourself to make others comfortable. It means you stop apologizing for your growth. It means you recognize the weight of your calling and carry it without shame. Chosen one, your authority is also awakening because you learned to submit your pain to God instead of letting it turn you cold. Many people experience suffering and become hardened by it. But you softened in the right places and strengthened in the right ways. You didn't let life twist you. You didn't let betrayal poison you. You didn't let loss define you. And because of that, heaven entrusted you with influence, not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that commands respect without asking for it. Your authority is not loud, but it is unmistakable. It is the authority of someone who has met God in the valley, the authority of someone who has faced darkness and refused to bow, the authority of someone who lost much but still carries light, the authority of someone who has been forged by fire but does not smell like smoke, the authority of someone who has been chosen, refined, preserved, and empowered. And with this new authority comes a new posture. You no longer beg, you speak. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer explain, you embody. You no longer seek approval, you move with purpose. People will notice the shift even before you do. Some will be drawn to your strength. Some will be intimidated by your clarity. Some will become uncomfortable because they can no longer manipulate or diminish you. Some will be inspired because your very existence reminds them that survival can turn into transformation. But regardless of how others respond, the truth remains. You are walking in new authority. Heaven sees it. Hell fears it. Your spirit recognizes it. And in this chapter of your life, chosen one, the authority you carry will open doors your tears once closed, and your obedience will unlock blessings your pain once delayed. The rise has begun, and your authority is leading the way. Chosen one, as you step into this next chapter of your becoming, heaven draws your attention to something sacred, something few understand, something even fewer carry: the crown of endurance. This crown is not made of gold or jewels. It is not placed upon your head by human hands. It is forged in seasons of suffering, shaped through perseverance, and placed upon those who refuse to surrender when surrender felt easier. This crown does not sparkle, it glows. It glows with the quiet brilliance of someone who has walked through fire and did not lose their faith. It glows with the soft radiance of someone who has cried themselves empty and still chosen to rise. It glows with the unmistakable mark of someone who has endured storms that would have drowned others, yet emerged with deeper compassion, deeper wisdom, and deeper strength. You, chosen one, carry that glow now. Endurance was never something you asked for. It was something life demanded of you. It was something circumstances pressed into you. It was something heaven used to refine you. And now, heaven brings forth a timeless truth, one spoken for souls like yours who have suffered long yet remained faithful, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the letter of James, chapter 1, verse 12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, for after standing the test, that person will receive the crown of life." Chosen one, that crown is resting upon you even now, not because you lived a perfect life, not because you always had unwavering faith, not because you never staggered under the weight of your trials, but because you never quit. You stood the test. You endured what tried to erase you. You walked through seasons designed to crush you and came out transformed instead. The crown of endurance is given to those who stayed when others ran, to those who forgave when others hardened, to those who trusted God when every circumstance screamed against him, To those who chose integrity when compromise felt easier. To those who continued walking, even when they could no longer see the path. This crown is not loud, it is lived. It is not shown, it is felt. It is not flaunted, it is carried. You carry it in the way you speak, now, with more patience and less panic. You carry it in the way you approach challenges, not in anxiety, but in assurance. You carry it in the softness of your heart, which remains unbroken despite all it has endured. You carry it in the firmness of your spirit, which refuses to bow to fear ever again. Endurance has changed you. Where you once reacted quickly, you now respond wisely. Where you once sought acceptance, you now seek alignment. Where you once battled insecurity, you now walk in self-awareness. Where you once lived in survival mode, you now walk in spiritual maturity. Your endurance carved new depths in you, depths that shallow experiences could never have shaped. It deepened your empathy. It sharpened your discernment. It strengthened your faith. It stretched your capacity. It cleansed your heart. It matured your vision. And most importantly, it aligned you with heaven's rhythm. Because endurance is not passive, it is powerful. It is not waiting, it is withstanding. It is not weakness, it is spiritual muscle. Heaven trusted you with long battles because heaven knew what was inside you. Heaven knew you were built for more. Heaven knew you were stronger than what attacked you. Heaven knew that endurance would become your superpower. And now, it has. Now you stand with a crown. Few ever receive a mark of divine perseverance. This crown is not just for what you endured, but for how you endured, with grace, with humility, with vulnerability, with quiet courage. Even when your heart shattered, you kept your spirit open to God. Even when your mind doubted, you kept your feet moving. Even when your strength collapsed, you whispered a prayer. Even when doors closed, you trusted another would open. That is endurance. That is royalty in the spiritual realm. And now, this crown becomes your new identity. You will move differently because of it. Your posture will change. Your confidence will deepen. Your vision will sharpen. Your decisions will align. Those who once underestimated you will be stunned by your resilience. Those who once dismissed you will see the authority in your presence. Those who once wounded you will see that the pain they caused became the very material of your crown. Chosen one, the crown of endurance is not just a symbol, it is a prophecy. A prophecy of who you are becoming. A prophecy of the influence you will carry. A prophecy of the impact you will make. You wear it now, and heaven sees it clearly. Chosen one. As you step into this next revelation, heaven opens a window into a moment. Many have waited to witness the moment of your vindication. For years, you walked through accusations, misunderstandings, silent judgments, and assumptions that never reflected the truth of who you are. People created stories about you based on fragments, on rumors, on their own insecurities. They formed opinions based on shadows, not substance. And yet, even when your name was mishandled, you chose stillness over retaliation. But heaven never forgot. Vindication is not loud. It does not scream for attention. It does not throw stones back at those who threw them first. Vindication is the quiet rising of truth, slow, steady, undeniable. Your vindication is unfolding not through arguments, but through elevation, not through explanations, but through transformation. Not through proving yourself, but through becoming yourself. And as heaven unveils this moment, an ancient truth rises like a banner over your story. The prophet declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that rises against you." Chosen one, this is your vindication, not by force, not by revenge, by divine reversal. Your life is becoming the evidence. The very people who misunderstood you will witness the fullness of who you truly are. Those who judged you based on a chapter will see the entire book. Those who doubted your intentions will see your integrity shine. Those who whispered behind your back will see God's hand openly upon your life. Vindication is not about making others small. It is about revealing who God always knew you were. Imagine a seed buried underground. For a season, it looks dead. People can't see movement. They assume nothing is happening. They forget seeds bloom in silence. And then, one day, the soil breaks, and what was hidden rises, not because it fought the soil, but because it grew strong enough to break through it. That is you. You are breaking through. The lies that once trapped, you are losing power. The misunderstandings that once wounded you are being unraveled. The judgments that once crushed you are being overturned. The limits others placed on you are dissolving. Your life is sprouting where people said you would never grow. Your spirit is rising where darkness thought it had you cornered. Your name is being redeemed without you saying a single word. Chosen one. Vindication is heaven saying, "I saw what they didn't. I knew what they never understood. And now I will show what I kept hidden for the right moment." As your light grows, people will start to recognize the truth. They misread you. They underestimated you. They placed you in categories that could never contain your destiny. And now, the same mouths that spoke lightly of you will speak differently. Not because you demanded it, but because God orchestrated it. But pause with me here, because as your vindication unfolds, this message, this very moment, is becoming a lifeline, a lantern, a shelter for someone else who has wrestled silently with false perceptions and deep wounds. Words like these take time, intention, and a heart committed to lifting others from the dust. And if this message has touched your spirit, if you felt truth resonating through each line, if this journey has become a mirror for your healing, then consider supporting the mission behind it. Not out of pressure, not out of guilt, but the way a traveler leaves water on the path for the next weary soul, the way a gardener shares seeds so another beautiful field can grow, the way a candle gives part of its flame to light another candle, yet loses nothing in return. Your like helps this message find the ones still hurting. Your share becomes a healing invitation to someone drowning in silence. Your subscribe keeps you connected to every future word meant to strengthen your spirit. And your donation, if your heart feels stirred, becomes the wings that carry these messages farther than they could ever go alone. Give only if your spirit says yes. Give only if heaven nudges gently. Give only if you want to help build a sanctuary of hope for those who need it desperately. And before this section closes, I invite you, if this message has spoken to your soul, to leave a comment on this post. Not for attention, not for numbers, but because your voice, your presence, your reflection becomes part of the healing space being built right here. Chosen one, your vindication is unfolding beautifully. Heaven is lifting you. Truth is rising. Your name is being restored. And this turning of the tides is only the beginning. Chosen one, as you step into this next unfolding, heaven shifts your focus from personal healing to divine purpose. You begin to understand that everything you survived, every heartbreak, every battle, every dark valley was preparing you to become something greater than you ever imagined. A witness, not a passive observer, but a carrier of truth, a bearer of light, a living testimony walking among the broken. Your life is not just a story, it is a lantern, it is a map, it is a reminder to others that survival is possible, that transformation is real, that God is still moving even in the hidden places. You were not chosen merely to endure, you were chosen to shine. For so long, you thought you were walking through suffering alone, but heaven was weaving purpose into every fiber of your journey. What looked like delay was preparation. What felt like abandonment was training. What seemed like loss was divine subtraction, making room for increase. And every breakthrough you've experienced has positioned you to walk as a witness, someone who carries evidence of God's faithfulness in their very spirit. Chosen one, you are stepping into a calling bigger than your pain. And heaven now confirms this through the ancient writings, words spoken for those who rise not by strength, but by grace. According to what is revealed in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11, they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. This is the essence of who you are becoming. You overcome by testifying. You impact by revealing. You lead by witnessing. Your healing is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of your assignment. There are people who will breathe again because of your voice. There are souls who will find hope because of your journey. There are hearts who will mend because you dared to share what once broke you. There are lives waiting for the light that now radiates from your healed places. Your scars have become scriptures. Your wounds have become wisdom. Your survival has become spiritual authority. You are living proof that darkness cannot win, walking evidence that brokenness can turn into power, a visible reminder that God restores what others destroy. Walking as a witness means you no longer hide your story out of shame, you hold it with reverence, knowing heaven shaped it, preserved it, protected it, and entrusted it to you for a reason. It means you no longer see your past as a prison, but as a platform. You understand now that your deepest valley became the soil where your calling grew roots. Chosen one, you are not who you were before the storm. Your eyes see differently now. Your heart discerns more quickly. Your spirit responds more boldly. Your mind holds more peace. Your soul carries more depth. Walking as a witness also means you carry yourself differently. There is a quiet authority in your presence now, a confidence that does not need applause, a grace that does not demand recognition, a strength that is not loud, but unmistakable. People who once overlooked you will now sense something sacred in you. People who once misunderstood you will now feel compelled to listen. People who once doubted you will now witness your transformation with awe, not because you sought validation, but because heaven validated you before anyone else saw your worth. Being a witness doesn't mean your life becomes perfect. It means your perspective becomes anchored. It means storms no longer define you, they refine you. It means challenges no longer intimidate you, they instruct you. It means pain no longer weakens you, it strengthens your testimony. As you continue forward, You will notice divine alignment happening around you. Conversations will shift. Connections will shift. Opportunities will find you. Purpose will unfold organically. You will be drawn toward people who are hungry for truth, healing, and hope. You will speak words that feel too wise for your age. You will walk into rooms where your presence alone brings comfort and clarity. You will carry an atmosphere that breaks heaviness without trying. Because this is what happens when someone becomes a witness of light. You become a vessel heaven can trust. Your life becomes ministry. Your integrity becomes influence. Your compassion becomes healing. Your journey becomes a message. And your message becomes a lifeline. Chosen one. Walking as a witness means you live with awareness. Awareness that your life is bigger than you. Awareness that your steps are guided. Awareness that your story is sacred. Awareness that your transformation is intentional. Everything you survived was shaping you for this identity. You are not merely alive. You are appointed. You are assigned. You are anointed to bring light where others see only darkness. The world needs the witness you are becoming. Chosen one. As you step into this final revelation, heaven draws back the curtain on the masterpiece your life has quietly been forming. Every moment you thought was wasted, every tear you thought fell unnoticed, every struggle you believed had no meaning, now aligns into a divine sequence. You stand at the threshold of destiny, not because you chased it, but because you became it. This is the moment where your tears transform fully into testimony, your wounds into wisdom, your pain into purpose, and your survival into calling. You are stepping into destiny, not as someone barely holding on, but as someone heaven has thoroughly refined. Destiny is not an event. It is not a single breakthrough, a sudden opportunity, or a dramatic change. Destiny is the unfolding of everything God planted in you long before your first breath. And now, it unfolds. Your destiny is shaped by everything you overcame, every betrayal you rose from, every valley you walked through, every night you cried, every storm you endured, every moment you chose God, even when you didn't understand Him. Destiny is not built in easy seasons. It is built in fire. And now heaven reveals the sacred truth written long ago for those stepping into their divine purpose. The apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, all things work together for good to those who love God, who are called according to His purpose. Chosen one. All things. Not some things. Not the beautiful parts, not just the miracles and breakthroughs. Even the heartbreaks worked for good. Even the disappointments shaped you. Even the silence taught you. Even the losses strengthened you. This is why your destiny is radiant, because it was carved from every piece of your story. You are stepping into a future where nothing is wasted, where your wisdom will guide others, where your compassion will heal the wounded, where your strength will stabilize the unsteady, where your voice will awaken those who are asleep, where your presence will shift rooms because heaven walks with you. Destiny does not happen to you, it happens through you. You are not the same person you were years ago. You don't think the same. You don't feel the same. You don't react the same. You don't settle the same. You don't break the same. And you definitely don't rise the same. You rise with purpose now. You rise with understanding. You rise with divine weight in your spirit. You rise with the authority carved from battles you thought would kill you. This is why destiny can trust you now. God waited until you were healed enough not to sabotage your blessings, until you were wise enough not to accept counterfeit connections, until you were strong enough to walk through open doors without shrinking, until you were grounded enough to carry influence without losing integrity, until you were spiritually mature enough to recognize opportunities sent by heaven versus distractions sent by the enemy. You were being prepared for this moment. Chosen one. The destiny you are stepping into is layered. You are stepping into clarity. Where confusion once ruled your life, you are stepping into opportunity. Where there once were only closed doors, you are stepping into purpose. Where there once was only survival, you are stepping into alignment. Where there once was chaos, you are stepping into identity. No longer shaped by who hurt you, but by who God called you to be. Destiny is not a straight path, it is a divine weaving. Every delay was protection. Every detour was recalibration. Every heartbreak was redirection. Every loss was preparation. Every victory was confirmation. And now you stand at the convergence of everything heaven orchestrated. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are right on time, God's time. Stepping into destiny means walking with confidence. Not because you know what's coming, but because you know who goes with you. It means embracing the new, even when the new feels larger than you. It means releasing old versions of yourself that were only needed for the journey, not the destination. It means recognizing that everything before this moment sharpened you for everything after this moment. Chosen one. Destiny is not waiting for you. It is unfolding in you. You are stepping into the life heaven wrote for you, a life filled with purpose, clarity, healing, impact, and divine momentum. A life that reflects victory, a life that carries testimony, a life that honors every tear you ever cried. Your story is no longer a story of endurance, it is a story of emergence. And destiny begins now. Chosen one. Before you leave this sacred space, pause for a moment and let everything settle into your spirit. You have journeyed through tears, battles, revelations, awakenings, and breakthroughs. You have walked through every chapter with courage, honesty, and an open heart. Heaven has spoken to you, lifted you, strengthened you, and reminded you of who you truly are. But this is not the end. This is the doorway. This is the breath before the next step. This is the calm before your rise becomes visible to the world around you. And if this message, this journey, this entire script has touched you in any way, if it awakened clarity, if it brought comfort, if it reminded you of your identity, if it pulled you out of heaviness, if it helped you breathe again, then I invite you, sincerely and gently, to stay connected. Your like helps these messages reach another chosen one who desperately needs light. Your share becomes a hand extended to someone stumbling in the dark. Your subscription keeps you aligned with every future word heaven pours through this space. And your comment, even a simple reflection or emoji, becomes part of the atmosphere of hope we are building here. If you feel led, share what resonated most with you. Share what healed you. Share the moment that felt like it was written just for you. Your voice matters in this space. You matter in this space. Chosen one, thank you for walking this journey. Your story is just beginning, and heaven is smiling over what comes next.